Christmas Eve morning, tracking some rain that continues to move into the Sandhills with patchy ice north and east of the Triangle. We'll show you how this impacts your travel plans coming up.
And speaking of travel, we are keeping an eye to the skies as we face those rain chances. RDU crews are working to get runways ready for the last-minute holiday travel today.
Plus, a 20-year-old man is dead after a shooting in a local neighborhood. We are going to show you the scene where investigators worked for hours into the morning. Certainly we have that story and others that we are covering today with our biggest story, arguably the WRAL weather alert day that we're watching very closely here. Thanks for joining us here on WRAL News. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, as Chris said, it's a WRAL weather alert day on your Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve to all those who celebrate. Meteorologist Chris Michaels is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking how the day is going to shape up.
Yeah, and really looks like the only potential for patchy ice is in these areas from Rocky Mount farther to the north into Halifax and Northampton counties. You may notice if you get a little bit of freezing drizzle that the windshield may be coated over, have to scrape it off a little bit. That's really the extent of any kind of freezing rain potential this morning. You see some showers coming up along I-95 into Cumberland and Sampson counties, Wayne County as well. But this is just plain old rain as temperatures from the Triangle southward have been in the mid to upper 30s. I've just kind of highlighted the area where we see the potential for patchy ice. But yeah, Fayetteville 37, Raleigh and Durham at 37. I'm not expecting rain in Roxborough where you're at 28, so that's just a plain old cold morning for you. Christmas Eve forecast, most of us are in the 30s throughout next, 2 or 3 hours. Then as we head into the afternoon, it's about 45 to 50 degrees, and things will start to dry out for us. But where we stand the better chance of any kind of freezing rain potential is off toward the northeast. So if you have plans to travel up toward the nation's capital, be careful as you head up there through midday.
All right, thank you, Chris. We do want to get you a look at your traffic this morning as we look at I-540 at Leesville Road right now. You can see it's pretty active out on the road, at least in one of those lanes there, as people are headed out, likely to begin their holiday traveling, but could be doing some last-minute shopping. As you're going out there, here's what the map looks like this morning. You know, we haven't actually seen any crash icons on the map. That is good news. That's why we're going to keep watching it this morning here to see how your travel shakes up as you continue to hit the road for your travel. Now, here's the deal. You may encounter some wet roads conditions this morning, and that could affect any last-minute travel plans you might have. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from RDU. And whether folks are driving or flying, Kelsey, this is going to be a day where their travel likely is affected.
Yes, Chris, but we are tracking cancellations and delays here at RDU this morning. And so far, there were only 2 delays according to FlightAware. So we'll be sure to stay on top of that. But if anyone is hitting the roadways, this weather definitely could impact you. We're even expecting to see some crews here de-icing the runways at RDU. Now, Sky 5 flew over the roads in Wake County yesterday. You can see NCDOT crews brining the roads ahead of today's freezing temperatures. They're prepared because there's a chance of freezing rain early this morning. You just heard Chris mention that in our forecast a few minutes ago. NCDOT is prioritizing brining bridges first.
We want to make sure that you're not going to be finding icy spots on the roads. We're going to get them before you see them.
You may want to consider hitting the road a little bit later in the morning to avoid any potential trouble spots. And to stay up to date on the forecast, just download our WRAL app and click the weather tab. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live at RDU.
I mean, you heard it, what she was kind of hinting at there. We've got you covered as freezing rain is moving across our area. Make sure you tune into our newscast from 4 to 7:30 this evening to see how your forecast is shaping up for Christmas Day, New Year's, and New Year's Eve.
And happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, we continue to stay on top of this very strange investigation happening in downtown Raleigh, where now 2 people are in custody after parachuting off of a construction crane. Now, here's the latest information we have so far. We know the call came in at around 2 o'clock this morning. And with that, Raleigh police responded to a situation where 2 people were standing on this construction crane and then parachuted off. This happening on Hargett Street. Again, around 2 o'clock this morning is when they initially responded to that scene. This all happening where they're building that new City Hall building. Both of those individuals jumped off again with that parachute. They're now in custody. No injuries to report at this time. So many questions we have this morning for Raleigh police, especially the identity of these 2 people and what exactly they were attempting to do at that construction site this morning. We'll continue to ask those questions and bring you updates as we get them here in the newsroom.
All right, thank you, Laura. 2 men are hurt after a shooting in Halifax County. Scotland Neck police say it happened near 8th and Chestnut Street just before 11 o'clock last night. They found that multiple shots were fired into a vehicle, dropping another off at home. Police say the 2 men who were shot drove themselves to the police department. They identified a person of interest and their car. They say if you are the driver of this car or if you have seen this car, reach out to police. And more breaking news. Police are investigating a shooting that left a man dead. Nick Perlin drove the WRAL breaking news tracker to the scene in a Fayetteville neighborhood and tells us this was not a random shooting.
Fayetteville police tell us the person who was shot and the suspected shooter knew each other. They say the shooting all happened just before 10 last night. Now take a look at this video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. This is on the 4600 block of Gardenwood Court in Fayetteville, and you can see here police officers blocking this cul-de-sac as they investigated this shooting last night. We know 1 man was shot and sadly died at the scene. At this point in time, we're still working with the Fayetteville Police Department to find out if they know who fired those gunshots. In Fayetteville, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
Officers across the state are honoring Officer Michael Horan. He was killed on the job yesterday. That's why first responders joined a procession for the officer last night. Officer Horan was responding to reports of a man with a gun at a Greensboro food line yesterday. That's when he was shot and killed. The suspect has not been identified. He led law enforcement on a chase through 7 counties before ending at the Sampson-Duplin County border on I-40. Sky 5 captured the moment officers took him into custody. I-40 was closed for hours as officers investigated, and tributes are pouring in for Officer Horan.
He was an excellent officer. He had an outstanding reputation inside the department and in the community.
You can just hear the sadness in his voice there. Governor Roy Cooper said, quote, the officer was courageously doing his duty protecting Greensboro when he became victim of a senseless act of violence. I extend to his family and friends my sympathy and a grateful heart for his brave, dedicated service. WRAL has reached out to Greensboro police to learn more about what led up to that shooting.
The Harnett County Sheriff's Office is looking for 3 people who they believe intentionally set a woman on fire. It happened a week ago off NC 27 near Barbecue Church Road. The sheriff says Ashanti Downey was walking along the highway when 3 people jumped out of a car and doused her in gasoline and then used a cigarette to light her on fire. Downey was taken to the emergency room with 2nd and 3rd degree burns on the right side of her body. She is in critical condition. If you have any information, contact the Harnett County Sheriff's Office.
Cary police are investigating 3 shootings in 4 days. They tell WRAL, though, they are not related. The suspect in Friday night's shooting at Fenton faced a judge yesterday. 24-year-old Malik Scott McLaren turned himself in for that shooting. He's an employee of Sun State Security. It provides unarmed security services at Fenton. Scott McLaren's attorney says the gun went off accidentally. His attorney argued for a lower bond because of that.
The death resulted due to an accidental discharge of a firearm. To me, it is not consistent with a murder. If anything, it's questionable whether or not these allegations are even consistent with an involuntary manslaughter.
McLaren and the victim, Corey McNeil, knew each other, according to investigators. Cary police tell WRAL they do have a person of interest in Sunday night's shooting, the one in the parking lot of a Burlington coat factory.
Well, there is good news for drivers making last-minute trips to their holiday destinations. AAA says today and Christmas Day will be less busy than the last few days. There is no suggested travel period, but if you are driving this morning in the Triangle, watch out for some potentially wet roads.
So here's a look at some of the gas prices you will see on the roads as you're heading out. The current average in North Carolina is $2.86. According to Gas Buddy, the current average in Raleigh is $2.91. The national average is $3.04. Actually filled up for $2.51 yesterday, if you can believe it. Reports say we are seeing the cheapest Christmas gas since the pandemic.
Well, if you need to run some last-minute errands this Christmas Eve, listen up. Here is what is open and what is closed today. Stores like Walmart and Target, they are open, but they will close early. Walmart closes tonight at 6, Target closes at 8, and both are closed on Christmas Day tomorrow. Most grocery stores will be open, but many have reduced hours, so make sure to check before you head out to pick up any last-minute groceries. And banks are open today, but Wells Fargo banks will close at noon. And most Most pharmacies like CVS and Walgreens, they are also open, but check your local store's hours.
This morning, women and children in Durham will have a chance to receive toys and a Christmas Eve brunch. The Durham Rescue Mission is holding the event this morning. It'll kick off at 10 a.m. with a gingerbread house building contest. Then expect brunch, presents, even a Christmas message. It's happening at the Good Samaritan Inn on East Knox Street.
And yesterday, the Durham Rescue Mission held its 47th annual Christmas Community Dinner and Toy Giveaway. It was held at the men's campus on East Main Street in Durham. Volunteers braved the cold to make a free, warm Christmas meal for families who may not have one this year. 1,700 children received bags of toys, and 3,100 people got a warm Christmas meal.
Your time is 6:10. A dangerous drone show. How a holiday show went terribly wrong, resulting in a child in the ICU in Florida.
And Coastal Pier, it just floats away. See more of this incredible video showing the Santa Cruz Wharf collapsing right into the ocean.
And this morning in the Triangle, temperatures well above freezing, so just going to see some light rain showers in and around the Triangle. But coming up, I'll show you the specific counties that see a little bit of patchy ice early this morning. That's coming up.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13 this Christmas Eve morning, and we continue to track some cold rain showers moving into the Sand Hills. Area of low pressure is going to continue to ride into the eastern half of North Carolina. Now, in terms of where we see any kind of patchy ice, we zoom in and you see that's well north and east of the Triangle, and that window of opportunity continues to close. From the Triangle to the south and east, you see just some isolated and chilly rain showers. No matter what you see, we'd like to see your pictures. Go to WRAL, search Weather Watchers, and send your pictures there, especially if you see a little bit of that freezing rain in areas like Halifax and Northampton counties. But for the rest of us, scattered showers last until midday, drier by the afternoon. Your Christmas Day forecast coming up in just a bit.
Part of a Santa Cruz pier collapsed into the ocean with 3 people on it. This video captured at the scene shows part of the debris just floating away in the surf. Santa Cruz police say 2 of the people on the pier had to be rescued, and the 3rd person was able to get out of the water on their own. There's no word yet on the extent of any injuries. The rest of the wharf was evacuated. Winter storms previously damaged the end of that pier.
A 33-year-old man is facing charges because police say he set a woman on fire. That happened in New York City on a subway train. Federal officials say the man was in the U.S. illegally and was deported. New York City police arrested Sebastian Zapata Khalil yesterday. He was charged with first-degree murder and arson. Authorities say surveillance video showed the man calmly approaching a sleeping woman and set her on fire. They say he then watched from a bench as she became engulfed in flames and died. The woman was pronounced dead at that scene.
One child will have to spend Christmas in the ICU after a Christmas drone show went terribly wrong. Thousands were watching this show in Orlando when drones started tumbling to the ground below and into the crowd. The FAA confirmed several of the small aircraft collided midair. One of them struck a 7-year-old boy.
My daughter found my son on the floor, unconscious, blood coming out his face. The drone hit him so hard in his chest that it messed up one of the valves in his heart.
My goodness. She says the impact forced doctors to perform emergency heart surgery on Sunday. The company that put on the show says they are working with the FAA and they regret any distress they caused.
A mother and her child survived this head-on crash with a suspected drunk driver. Look at this video here. This right here is the moment when Chelsea Evans says a drunk driver crossed the center line and hit her. That happened Sunday night in Fayetteville. She and her 9-month-old baby were taken to the hospital, but they are expected to be okay. Evans says months ago, while pregnant with her son, another suspected drunk driver rear-ended her on Murchison Road.
It's a miracle because the impact of how we were hit, we definitely had the choice of not being here today. However, God interfered and he saved our lives.
Police say the driver of the other car, Calvin McDonald, is also hospitalized. When he's released, they say he will be charged for driving while impaired.
Wow. Well, Amazon warehouse workers in Garner have asked for a vote to form a union. They filed papers yesterday with the National Labor Relations Board. If successful, the facility would be the first Amazon warehouse in the South to form a union, and only the second in the entire country.
There's now another treatment option for people with type 2 diabetes. The FDA approved a generic version of the daily injectable GLP-1 medicine, liraglutide. The treatment is similar to Ozempic. It'll be sold under the brand name Victoza. The company that sells the generic version has not announced a price, though. They did say it will cost less than the branded version. The treatment is expected to be available nationwide by the new year.
The Notre Dame Cathedral is now open and preparing for its first Christmas since that 2019 fire. From the gleaming new altar to the restored organ's melodies, the 800-year-old landmark is once again a symbol of faith and celebration. And coming up on Today, Keir Simmons takes us to Paris to witness this magical moment and the heartwarming festivities surrounding the cathedral's revival. The Today Show gets started at 7 o'clock right here on WRAL.
All right, St. Nicholas, if that is your government name, where are you right now? It is the busiest day of the year for Santa Claus. He's already out delivering presents to boys and girls across the globe. I'm not going to lie, the screen is really far from the desk. Where is he right now, Natalie? Okay, he's headed to Russia, it looks like. All right, so we are going to be looking constantly this morning at the NORAD Santa Tracker, and we're going to watch exactly where he's going to be headed to and when he will arrive to Chris Michael's house, because Chris has been a good boy this year, right? You waiting for that new doodad you've been waiting for there, buddy?
I don't know. If he comes down the chimney, he might have claustrophobia. So, no, I've not been good after telling that joke. Anyways, dual Doppler 5000. Got some showers moving into the Sandhills this morning, coming in from Lumberton into Cumberland and Sampson counties. Notice just north of Rocky Mount, we've got some patches of freezing rain. So we're going to watch northern Nash, Edgecombe, Halifax, and Northampton counties. This is where we could see some briefly slick spots over the course of the next hour or so. But you head farther to the south, and temperatures are well above freezing. Futurecast continues to show that potential for some showers that will move east of the area as we head into the afternoon. So be extra careful if you're heading out toward the eastern half of the state. We'll just see some light rain from time to time, and then the clouds clearing out from west to east as we head into the evening. That's going to set us up with a really nice Christmas day. In terms of your Christmas Eve, temperatures in the 30s up until about 9 a.m., midday in the mid-40s, then high temperatures about 45 to 50 degrees today. Good news is, as Santa Claus does get closer to North Carolina, things are looking pretty dry, pretty cold, though. Roxborough at 28, Fayetteville 34, Durham at about 32, first thing Christmas morning. So it'll actually feel like Christmas out there. Temperature by 8 a.m. tomorrow, 37 degrees. By midday, we're in the upper 40s, and then by the afternoon, we're in the low to mid 50s. So really, traveling today, we'll just put the caution light on it just for a few of those early showers. Christmas Day, Thursday, Friday, green light. Travel looks to be good to go. Even if you're heading farther to the north, we got some bowl games. UNC in the Fenway Bowl against UConn. Temperature 36 at kickoff Saturday. NC State and ECU playing in the Military Bowl, looking at a 42-degree kickoff in Annapolis, Maryland. So looking forward to that nice busy weekend of college football. Meanwhile, here at home, temperatures will stay seasonable as we head toward the end of the week. This weekend will actually start to warm up, but that same southwest flow is going to bring in some rain showers, possibly some thunderstorms on Sunday. We'll keep tabs of that for your post-Christmas travel right here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
All right, he's watching the weather there, and of course we here at the desk are watching what's happening out on the road. Michelle, you see how busier it is right now? This is I-40 at Wade Avenue. We're seeing so much more traffic as the day progresses. A lot of people heading out, likely going to the airport today. We know some people will be traveling to see some loved ones. In fact, if you are going out to do that, the map, we have not seen any crash icons. That is good. No news is good news, right? But we'll be watching it throughout the day to see how the weather may affect your travel. But for the most part, things look green across the board right now.
And just ahead for us, a deadly boat explosion. We'll show you this new video of that explosion, and you'll hear from a waiter who saw the entire thing happen.
Plus, an apartment fire reignited in Durham. How crews were able to finally extinguish the flames when a power source re-sparked the fire.
And as we head to break, here's a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers. Good luck.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Okay, for the first time in almost 20 years, Christmas and Hanukkah are overlapping.
And of course, people are making it kind of the online trend right now. Here's a look at what's trending for you. You may remember the OC first popularized, that's how you say that word, the term Chrismukkah.
Allow me to introduce you to a little something that I like to call Chrismukkah.
Online retailers are cashing in on the Chrismukkah craze, selling festive sweaters, split holiday wreaths, and even Santa-inspired yarmulkes.
I like it. I think it's very cute. It's a good way to be inclusive and, you know, everybody comes together and celebrates together. Why not?
When you need something creative, look no further than to the internet.
Yes, exactly. All right, well, Chris loves this one. Christopher Nolan's newest project may have cast just as star-studded as Oppenheimer. Universal Pictures revealed Nolan will take on Homer's The Odyssey in 2026. The cast includes Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, Robert Pattinson, and Charlize Theron. I mean, does it get any better than that? Those are some A-list celebrities.
As a member of the Christopher community, I'm very happy for Christopher Nolan. He really is a fantastic director.
Yes.
I love his movies. I think I told you earlier, Interstellar was amazing. Inception, as confusing as it was, also kind of a mind blower for me, but I'm excited. I will watch anything that man puts on screen.
But you still have to watch Oppenheimer.
I'm doing it before the new year. I promise.
Yeah,
I'm making it happen.
All right.
Hey, just a reminder, you still have a chance to help a child in need this holiday season. So far, our WRAL Coach for the Children campaign has raised, look at that number right there, $185,000 plus. That was thanks to generous donations from you, our viewers, and community partners. So if you scan the code on your screen right now, you can donate or go to WRAL.com/coats. You can drop off a new or gently used coat at a participating Jiffy Lube location.
Mount Olive's Pickle Drop. The event has been named among the top 10 best New Year's Eve drops in 2024. USA Today puts the list together every year, and this is the second year in a row that we have made the list. The Pickle Drop comes in at number 9, just ahead of the Ball Drop in Times Square. Other drops include the Possum Drop in Georgia, the Peeps Chick Drop in Pennsylvania, the Pierogi Drop in Indiana, and at number 1, the Ball Drop in Ludington, Michigan. This year is the 25th annual Pickle Drop in Mount Olive. Things get underway on New Year's Eve at 5 p.m.
This morning at 6:27, starting to track some patchy ice, especially as you go north of Rocky Mount. I'll show you where that's headed and where we start to see some of those Christmas Eve rain showers coming up.
And remembering a fallen officer. How law enforcement officials honored the life of Officer Michael Horan, who was killed yesterday in a Food Lion shooting. We are going to walk you through the 7-county chase the suspected shooter led police.